Just getting started, we're going to be going over the statistics, but done in a way where you're actually turning this into a story. This is really important. Statistics are critical to your business success. You got to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your academy, knowing what numbers are coming in and what numbers you need to hit. However, when we do this from just a reporting of the numbers mindset, it doesn't create much energy, doesn't create much enthusiasm to actually go and do that work. So we've modified this process so that you create the energy that you need to build the school that you want. And that's really the first step. The first step of this entire process is to start talking about your school the way that you want it instead of the way that it is. Our minds are incredibly powerful. If you've ever lost something, and this just happened the other day, I was looking for my keys. I believed that I left them in my backpack, but I'm looking through my backpack. I literally took everything out, no keys, put everything back in, was walking around the school trying to find my keys, can't find my keys anywhere. My keys must be lost. I don't know where my keys are. Then one of the staff members came in and had asked me a question. And they asked me that question. I started talking about what the answer was, and I went to go pull out my journal out of the same backpack that I was just looking for everything, and right there on top of my journal were my car keys. Now, why does this happen? It's not gremlins that hide your keys and then put them back there. It's the power of your mental thought process. When I first was looking in that backpack, I was thinking that my keys were lost, believing that my keys were lost. And that belief is so powerful that my eyes actually could not pick up the fact that my keys were right there in front of my face. If you've ever lost something like that, you know the power of your beliefs. That's proof of it. If you believe that they're actually gone in that moment. Your brain can't even process that they're there. And when we tell a story about our school, the way things are, we can't find good staff, we can't find good staff, we can't find good staff. What we're actually doing is programming our mind to not see all of the potential staff members that are all around you right now, all of the people that could help you build your company and get you to the next level. If we say things like, we can't raise our rates, we can't raise our rates, we can't get more than what we currently get, well, then you're going to block yourself off from every single possibility of you being able to make more money in your academy to be able to raise your rates. So the way that we structure our statistics is the first story is the story that we want to have happen. This is what we call the way it is with our statistics. The statistics that we report that are based on what our numbers currently are in our business, we actually label them as what was. Think about it this way. If you were a farmer and you planted pumpkins in the spring, well, you would harvest pumpkins in the fall. You would get now what was done way back then. Your statistics of your business right now are only because of the things that you've done in the past. So everything that you're reporting, number of active students that you have, what your attendance was last week, all of these things that feel like they're in the present, they actually are not. They're the way that you structured your business. They're their thought process from the past. They're your actions from the past, but they have nothing to do with what is right now. And you need to get into the habit of telling the story the way you want your business to be now. Couple ground rules. There are no judgments on this. Don't feel that you have to have the biggest school if that feeling of having the biggest school doesn't feel good to you. Don't feel that your attendance percentages have to be the highest if those attendance percentages don't feel good to you. You're going to write down numbers based on what feels good, what feels genuine. The stronger your belief in these numbers, the faster that you could build that school that you desire. The lower your belief in these numbers, or if you're writing these numbers down to impress somebody else, you're doing this to impress the other school owners, but you have no real belief that you're going to be able to hit these numbers, you're not helping yourself at all. You're just adding to frustration. Now, one more caveat on that. Truly, whatever it is that you write down, you can have that. You absolutely could build whatever school you desire to build. There are no limitations here. You can grow to whatever level you desire. But it's up to you to feel in alignment with those numbers, to feel the belief in those numbers so that you could create that school. So let's go over what they are. The first one is active count. This is the number of active students you want to have. Your school, the ideal phase of your school, how many people are going to be in it on regular programs. That's the first number that you want to write down. And I'm going to recommend, hey, do this now. Okay. Don't put this off and say I'm going to cover all these numbers later. Give you about 30 seconds. Think about it. Play with a few different numbers in your head. Maybe you throw out 200, maybe you throw out 1,000, maybe you throw out 750. See which one really resonates with you that you want to create. Go ahead, I'll give you a few seconds. Next, we want to go over our attendance. Now, our attendance is different than our active count because if we have more than one student, some of those people are not going to be able to attend every single week. You're always going to have some people missing classes. People have family emergencies that they have to deal with, and they have vacations, and they have all sorts of things that get in the way with life. So where do you want to see your consistent attendance fall around? Go back to that first number. Obviously, your attendance count is going to be lower than your active count, and decide what number you want that to float at. Our next number is our attendance ratio. Now, if you've already done these first two numbers, it's real easy. Take your actual attendance number and then divide that by your active count in order to get your attendance ratio. So let's use some easy numbers. I want 1,000 active count. I have 920 students who attended. That means that I've got a 92% active count. 920 divided by 1,000 is 0.92 or 92%. Next is your MIA report. Your MIA is it's a number. So it's the number of people that did not take that class or take that week of classes. That's the MIA report. And again, these numbers right now, what we're doing is we're just writing down, I know it's total fiction, the school that we want to have. Then we're going to convert these numbers into a story. And it's in through telling that story that we create the real energy, the passion, the excitement for creating that school of our dreams. So you got to write through these first. Now, the next number is leads. How many leads is your school going to cultivate in a monthly basis? And what leads are is anybody who gives you contact information. This could be somebody that joins your blog, for example, because now their email is recorded into your database. It could be somebody that you were talking to at a booth and they said, here's my number, send me a schedule. It could be when you're out doing your gift certificate promotions and somebody says, yeah, I'm interested, send me a schedule. It could be based on your website that you have some sort of autoresponder. There's all sorts of ways to get leads. And what you want to think about is how many leads do we have to cultivate on a monthly basis to fill up our funnel so that we end up getting the new students that we want. And leads is the first number to consider. The next step is appointments. Out of all of those leads, how many of those people are going to commit to come into their first class? Not that they actually attended the class itself. And to give you an example of this, if I called up a potential student on Tuesday and said, hey, we got a class tonight at 8 o'clock. Would you like to attend? And they go, sure, I'd love to attend. I'll be there at 8. Then 8 o'clock comes around. If they don't show up, I would still record this as an appointment that day because they set the appointment that day. Now, of course, you're going to follow up and do all your normal procedures, but the actual setting of the appointment is what you're concentrating on here. So as I set the appointment, give you that same example. We got a class coming up on Wednesday and I'm calling on Tuesday. Would you like to attend? Sure, I'll attend on Wednesday. That appointment is actually been set on that day of Tuesday, so that's what it counts for. So you might set appointments on the 31st day of the month. They're not going to come in until the 1st of next month, but that's still considered in your appointment setting process for that month. Hope that clears that up. Next, now you want to structure however you're going to run your funnel. For some schools, they do like a free month, or they'll do a month for $49 type of thing. And that's the only step in their funnel. Once those people come in on that $49 program, their next step is to become a student, and that's totally fine. Other people will do like a first class and then a second class follow-up. Other schools will have like a 2-week trial that then they upgrade to a 3-month program, a white belt program, and then they upgrade from there. All of these things are going to vary based on your school, and I'm not dictating to you any which way that you want to run that. Whatever funnel is working for you, that you enjoy, that you like working, that you have confidence in, is what you're going to keep here. But I call them the number 1 or the number 2 in the funnel. For us, it's a first class. We talk about the prices. We tell the student, the family, we're going to have your white belt test. We're going to recite the creed. We're going to break the board karate style. So they're excited to come in for the second class, but most of our sales happen on that second class. Your system might be different. Just put the steps of your funnel in there. Next is the actual new students that you're going to enroll. And this is based on a monthly basis. We have this much active count. what are we going to enroll on a monthly basis? Your upgrades. If you have tiered programs like we recommend, we have a basic, a BBT, and a mastery program. If you have those tiers in your program, your basic program is the first step of that tier. If a student signs up on your basic program, they are considered a new student. Now, we have the option that they could sign right up into Black Belt training program, even on their second class. And in that situation, they would still be a new student, but they would be in the BBT program. Or if they signed up on Mastery right away, they would be a new student in the Mastery program. Now, the next measurement is your upgrades. And what your upgrades are is anybody who signed up on basic or BBT, and then as their program is going through, maybe it's the second or third or fourth month, they decide, look, I want a higher experience in my training. I want to upgrade to BBT, or I want to upgrade to Mastery. So that's what their upgrades would be. And for your upgrades, pick that number. How many upgrades do you think you have to make each month in order to make this final goal of your active count real? Your next number is your renewals. If you are in month 1 of the year, so you were in January, if you've got 12 people that are going to expire, for example, how many of those do you have to renew in order to keep the school healthy and strong? Now, most schools, not most schools, some schools out there have the belief that none of their students quit. I just want to dispel that right now. People are going to leave your academy for a variety of reasons. I know a lot of times it's not going to be because they don't like training. Sometimes it's just because they move or they lost their job or that kind of thing. But we have to count on some of these people not being real members for life. Not everybody is a member for life. People are going to quit eventually. So calculate that if you think about it. And here's one thought on this. Let's say that you had a 100-student school. I'm just going to use round numbers to make this easy. You anticipate that you're going to lose 2% of your academy every single month, meaning 2 people are going to expire and not renew. Well, that means how many renewals would you need in order to keep that number healthy? If we were going to lose 10 of our students because their programs are going to expire, 2 of them are going to say no, well, that means we would want to renew 8. And that'll just give you some rough numbers to work through. And again, the point of this exercise is not to get the numbers right when you're in this phase of the process. You're totally guessing. I get that. And that's totally fine. Guess away. Guess your best guess, and then we can use this to work backwards. We'll see what our guess was, what was the reality, and then we can work based on those real numbers of what we need to do to modify our plan to grow. Next, this is for level 2 licenses only. Level 2 licensees, you can do workshops. Once you have 4 or 5 curriculum cycles down, you could start promoting to outside people that you're doing a personal development workshop. It's not so much a martial arts class. You're not promoting self-defense or Krav Maga or Taekwondo or anything else. What you're promoting is like a anti-anxiety course or a goal-setting program or a mastery of positive thinking workshop. These workshops that cover just the personal development. Now, the first number of your workshops, that's the number of tickets you're going to sell for that one-time seminar. Then the next number is your workshop cash. If you calculate what you're going to charge for the workshop, and I recommend charging somewhere between $298 and $1,000. If you're going to charge somewhere between there, then you would take the number of tickets that you want to sell, multiply that by the cost of each ticket to get your gross revenue on workshop cash. The next number is billing. When you sign somebody up, let's say you sign them up in January, but they're going to make 12 monthly payments throughout the year. They paid their down payment, which covered their first month's tuition. Well, when they pay their February, that's a part of your billing. When they pay their March, that's a part of your billing. So anybody who's not signing up on a brand new program, but they're making their monthly tuition payment, that's your billing amount. And what would that number be at? Your next number is your new contract amount. So if you calculate the number of contracts that you actually enroll, if you add up all of those numbers, what does that come to for contract amount? So if I had a $100 a month program, I asked for a $200 down payment, and then they're going to make 10 monthly payments of $100. That would be $1,000 contract amount that I'm sending into the new contract amount column. Again, I know this is a total guess, but let's just put these last 2 numbers together. If you collected, let's say $50,000 worth of billing, and then you write down that your new contract amount is only $30,000 that you're going to send a new business, what's happening is you're eating your business alive. You're taking out $50,000 in the billing amount, and you're only putting $30,000 back in. eventually that's going to come down to a zero number. You're starving your business because you're not feeding it enough new contracts in order to keep it alive. So whatever your billing number is, your contract amount has to be higher than that to see your school grow and maintain its health and vitality. Then your total contract amount is the last number that you want to concern yourself with. And this is if you took all of your students and what each individual student's contract amount was, added those all up together, that would be your grand total of contract amount. And once you calculate all of these numbers, now we have the raw data needed in order to insert this into our story. And our story goes like this. Now, if again, just compare these two. Active count, XYZ, attendance, XYZ, attendance ratio, XYZ. That's boring. Doesn't create any energy for you. You got to get a visual behind the story so the story becomes real. And guys, when I send this video out, you will also have this worksheet so you don't have to write all this stuff down. You just fill in the numbers. So it starts like this. I love being, and then you'd insert your role in the academy. So I love being an enrollment director or a head instructor or a chief instructor or a manager or the owner of a school that has 321 active students. That's the next number that you put in. So think about this. I love being the owner of an academy that has 349 students. That statement right there has a lot more power than just saying what your active count is. I hope to have 349 students. No, you're stating this in the affirmative like it's already real. I love being the owner of a school that has 321 active count. It feels good to make an impact in so many lives each week. And we do a great job motivating our students to come to class. We saw 301 train last month, which means we hold an attendance ratio of 94%. So that's where you plug in your first numbers. You're plugging in your role, which you obviously know, your active count, the number of attendance that you see each week, and then your attendance ratio, but you plug it into a story. I love being the owner of a school with 321 active students. We saw 301 students train last week, and that means that our attendance ratio is at 96%. You put all what those numbers are for your school that you dream of. Now, we reached out to the 20 who missed, and I got good news. They'll be attending next week. Okay, so we reached out to the 15 that missed class last week, and I feel confident that they will be attending this week. We reached out to these people, and they're coming back. We're not losing them. Our new student activity is very exciting. We enrolled, and now you insert your new student number, 17 new members this month by generating 170 leads into our funnel. It was fun that we could offer no less than 7 number ones and 6 number twos each week. So now you're running through that funnel and you're going to break it down. So whatever your monthly total is, let's say you wanted to sign up 15 new students and you knew that you had to have 30 number ones and 20 number twos in order to do that. Take your 30 number ones and divide that by 4.3. That's the amount of weeks in a month. So let's see what that is. 30 divided by 4.3, and you would have 6.9 new students doing a number one or 7. So that's how we calculate that number. Our new student activity is very exciting. We enrolled 17 new members this month by generating 170 leads into our funnel. It's fun that we would offer no less than 7 number ones and 6 number twos each week. So that mindset, it puts it visually. It's the equivalent of visualizing your martial arts technique. When you read through this paragraph, you're visualizing the academy becoming real. Matter of fact, if you do that, it adds power to it. If you actually close your eyes. We did 7 number ones this week. You could see the calendar. You could see all the people walking in. You see that your instructor who's in charge of selling, or you, if that's you, you're teaching a brand new student every single day. How exciting is that? A brand new student coming into your school every single day. That's awesome. Now, the next part, our upgrades are humming as well. We enrolled 10 this month, and it was really fun and easy. So that's another aspect. We want to talk about how easy this process can be to wrap your head around how you want this to be. You don't want this dream school to be a pain in the ass. You don't want it to be, oh my God, I do nothing but work and I'm stressed out and I'm exhausted. You want this to be an enjoyable process. And we're setting up our mind to accept that data. Our upgrades are humming as well. We enrolled 10 new upgrades this month, and it was really fun and easy. By clearly explaining the benefits of mastery, we created a buzz in the school. People are excited when they join, and they have a real sense of pride when they become members. So you want to talk about that experience. If you've ever had a major breakthrough where you purchased some, life-changing thing, you bought a business or you bought a house or you took that dream vacation or you bought that car you always wanted. When you have that experience, it feels awesome. It's not this source of stress. It's not this source of anxiety. It's like, yes, I'm able to do this. I got the money. This is great. I love having this as a part of my life. That's the way your students feel when they sign up on Mastery. They're giving their family something positive and something powerful and something that's really going to help them. They're going to feel great about that process. And that's what you want to wrap your head around. Isn't it awesome to do 10 of those every single month, or 20 or 15 or whatever your number is? Even if your number is 3, isn't that awesome that you have 3 people having that feeling of exhilaration? I'm so excited that I'm able to buy this and bring this into my lifestyle. That's the way you want to think of your renewals and your upgrades. Next, our gross sales have exceeded $85,000 a month, which makes us blank, a $1 million a year academy. Or if your number was $10,000 a month, we are over $100,000 a year academy. You're going to talk about your monthly gross, and you're going to talk about what that brings to your overall value. Now, one way I actually misspoke when I did this meeting live, because the actual way that a lot of schools will calculate their value is 2 years gross revenue. Whatever your 2 years gross revenue is, that's where a lot of people will start. Hey, this is what my school is worth. Now, there are so many determining factors that add variables to that. For example, if you cashed out all of your students and now you just owe training, but you have no billing, well, that's going to lower the value of the school. So there's tons of variables there. This is more of a starting point. But when you start to look at that, hey, I got $1 million academy. We're doing $83,000 a month. I have a $2 million school. That's pretty powerful. So again, our gross sales have exceeded, put in the monthly gross that you hope to hit, which makes us say, boom, then put that into your yearly number. We send on average, this is the next number, we send on average $98,000 worth of contract amount. Whatever your contract amount would be that you want to send. Remember, that number should be higher than your monthly gross. So when I'm thinking about my school with 321 active students, I came up with that number because I know we can generate an $83,000 a month from that number. And with an $83,000 a month, that makes us $1 million academy. But we want to send no less than $83,000 a month for new contract amount, because that means our school would be eating itself alive and would eventually die. So $83,000 a month, we sent in $90,000 worth of contract value. And then the last part of that, and we've secured a longevity with a contract amount that is above $1 million or $500,000 or $250,000 or whatever it is that you see your overall contract amount being. Again, your yearly gross, if that's what you're doing monthly, your contract amount should maintain above that number so that you know that you have a healthy academy, enough new billing coming in that you're going to keep things going strong. Now, here's where we wrap this up and we give it real power. The last part, I feel, and this is so important, this is the genuine emotion. What will it feel like when this becomes real? How will that feel when you wake up and you know you built this? Will you feel pride? Will you feel pride rather? Will you feel freedom? Will you feel security? Will you feel a bunch of those things? Use the ringing phone here, guys. Will you feel several of those things? Well, then put it in. Hold up, sorry. What's that second rule about blocking out distractions? I gotta follow my own advice here. Here we go. So what is it that you actually feel as you're thinking about this overall here we go. Phone is officially killed. So now, blocked out distractions. Now we can get moving. That feeling is really where the power is. And it's important to wrap yourself around this. My instructor taught me to act like a black belt before I ever got my black belt. That every time that I was going to be training, I was training with a black belt mindset, a black belt attitude. Well, if you're building your business to become wealthy, I want you to act like a wealthy person before you get to work on this business. And I want you to think about, what does it feel like to generate this kind of income? Will you feel generous? Will you feel abundant? Will you feel free? Will you feel secure? All of those feelings you got to bring in there. And that goes into your story. I feel such a sense of power and fulfillment and fun having created this. And I'm grateful to have, and now you write your number that you're making per month. I'm grateful to have. This isn't gross revenues for your school. This is you personally. This is the tax return that you're going to send. I feel grateful to have. What's that number? Is it 50,000, 40,000, 20,000, 80,000? What's that number? I feel so grateful to have $30,000 flowing into me each and every month. I'm enjoying, and here's the last part. You're enjoying some of the experiences and the stuff that you get to buy because of this lifestyle change that you have. I'm so grateful to have $50,000 a month flowing into me personally. I'm enjoying our second home and our trips to Bermuda, if that's what you're into. Talk about what this will look like when you have this lifestyle. Now, once you wrote up this story, this has to go somewhere where you could see it before your workday. Put it under your blotter, or make sure that it's on your phone, and you're going to open it up once a day to give it a look. Because the more often that you tell this story, the more you're programming your mind to believe it. And once you program your mind to really believe this energy of this story, now you've creating the creative process so that you could look for and find the opportunities that are all around you to create this academy. The average school owner talks about their limitations, their problems, their frustrations, who they're pissed at, why they don't have enough money coming in, and a source of frustration that holds them back from that creative mind that's going to get them to the next level. Get used to telling the story that you want to have happen, and tell it over and over and over again. Now, your final step, now that you have your story created, what you're going to do is you're going to have your what is column right down here with all of your numbers, and then you're going to find out what your actual numbers are in your school. Remember, your actual numbers are actually the work that you did a year ago, 6 months ago, etc. It's all of that thought process, all of that energy that gave you what your school was. Your school is not that anymore. It's not going to be that way anymore. It's going to be the new school, the school that you desire. And that's the school that is right now. That's the school that you're working on. Now, don't be worried about the gap. It doesn't matter what the gap is. The only gap that you have to close is the emotional gap, your feeling gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you write down that you want to have 400 active students, start acting like you have 400 active students now. If you write down that your gross revenues are going to be $100,000, start acting like your gross revenues are $100,000 now. And I don't mean acting like going into debt like you already have the money. I mean acting like, how will you act when you have this money? How will you feel? What kind of mindset will you hold? Well, hold it before you do your attendance calls. Hold it before you teach that class. Hold it before you do your staff training. Hold on to that mindset and that feeling, and the more that you practice that, then you'll create the momentum to actually have this business in real life. That's it. That's our attendance. I'm sorry, that is our statistics story. Story is where the power is, guys. Thanks for watching.